last day for groupthink. We're going to wrap everything up, so we're just going to review again real quick what we talked about last time. So, assumption 1, it was cohesiveness.
Which is the extent to which group members are willing to work together. It is a group sense of togetherness. Those members who are highly attracted to other members' attitudes, values, and behaviors are more likely to be cohesive. So when everything flows together and group members are getting along, that is what promotes cohesion.
So assumption 2 is unity. So like we said, people aren't predisposed naturally to want to be disruptive or go against what whoever they're on the team with is saying. They care more about the value of the group rather than the underlying issue. And group members feel inclined to follow the leader, just like we saw with the Wolf of Wall Street video. And then it's complex because most people would think that 2 heads are better than 1, but Urban Janis showed that that's not always the case. You got to take into consideration not only the task at hand, but also who is helping you complete that task. What is their background? Why did they make the decisions and the input that they make? And then the wide variety of influencers. It was gender, race, just background, your life experiences. And then whether you are conscious of it or not, the presence of others always does have an effect on you.
Okay, and this is an overview of the antecedent conditions of groupthink. They include deep cohesiveness, which can lead to conformity, insulation of the group, lack of impartial leadership, lack of clear procedures for decisions, and homogeneity of group members' backgrounds, and group stress. Okay, so one of the first conditions of groupthink, like we said, is cohesion. I'll skip through that right now. But the next one is group insulation. That is when a group's ability to remain affected by outside influences. So sometimes it is easy for group insulation to occur if group members do not solicit the opinions or views of those external to the group. So sometimes groups don't take into consideration people outside of the group. So they don't try to get their input and get their ideas and opinions because they're, say for example in this class, you won't probably talk to a PR student about theories of communication because they're outside of the group. They're in your same field, but they're outside of your field of study. Also, lack of impartial leadership. The definition says that group members who consider others' opinions to be detrimental to their plan will suppress any form of potential leadership. Sort of like our current president right now, Donald Trump. Some people say that if you're not with him and you don't have the same ideas as him, he doesn't really listen to your ideas. So no outside input. Group leaders are selective. They tend to support those that support their ideas. If you support me, I support you. So it's like selective listening. If someone is into the same things as you, you are more willing to discuss with them. And lack of decision-making procedures. This is failure to provide norms for solving group issues, and it results in group members going along with those who tend to speak up. So if there's a lack of decision-making processes, there's not a specific, 5 people can vote, or 3 out of 5 wins the majority of the vote. If people don't know the process of getting a decision, then decisions tend to fail. And you just listen to like the leader, okay, this person has the best idea, so I'll go with them. Not with the whole group consensus. Also, homogeneity. That is lack of disparity in social backgrounds and ideology among the members of a cohesive group. It makes it easy for them to concur on whatever proposals are put forth by the leader. So if everyone thinks alike, then the decision is going to be simple. It's going to go one way. If someone thinks differently, then that challenges the group. Okay, and internal and external stress. When stress is high, group members may not see any usable solution and therefore rally around their leader. So sometimes groups, internal stress is like something like, I'm cold, I'm hungry. In this class, it may be hard for you to think and put your ideas forth because you're probably thinking, I have this nice class right now. Or I'm tired and didn't get enough sleep last night. External pressures is maybe like, I don't like my partner sitting next to me, so it's hard for me to communicate well with them.
Okay, and then we did the activity where you guys looked at the picture of the lady. It was good. Everybody said that it was a lady. Nobody thought it was a man. That's what we were hoping. So some symptoms: concurrent seeking, illusion of invulnerability, and belief of inherent morality of the group. This is new material. We didn't go over this last class. So concurrent seeking is this occurs when a group comes to make their final decision, and whether they should jump in and actually make that decision, or whether they should go and get outside advice. With groupthink, usually they end up just going with the decision and not getting outside advice. Illusion of invulnerability. This is basically when the group just thinks that no matter what decision they make, it's the best decision possible. Any obstacle that they run into or any challenge, they'll be able to overcome it no matter what, just because of the team that they have. And then belief of inherent morality of the group. This is when the group thinks that because they all have good morals and that they're good people, that will make them have good decisions, which isn't always the case, because you could, let's say you're working on like a chemistry project. Me personally, I know nothing about chemistry, but I like to think I have pretty good morals. I'm not going to think because I have good morals that I'm going to make good decisions about a chemistry experiment. Some ways to avoid groupthink. You want to, the leader of your group should be requiring oversight and control. Embrace whistleblowing. So this is, rather than just going along with the group, basically if you have an idea or you see a problem, speak up, blow that whistle rather than just sit back. Allow for objection. It's basically right along the same lines of allowing for whistleblowing. And then balance consensus and majority rule. Now, majority rule, you guys know what that is. It's say 4 out of 6, whereas consensus is as many votes for it as possible. So, you prefer to be 100%, maybe 5 out of 6. So you got to determine, like she was saying, what's your norms going to be when you're forming a group.
And also, with majority rule, sometimes that's not the best decision. Just because everyone has that idea doesn't mean that it's the right idea. Just because a lot of people agree on it, they might be wanting to keep cohesion or homogeneity. And that's not always the best case, like groupthink explains.
So some more symptoms, just pressure towards unity. Janice he said something, go along to get along. Basically just, you don't want a problem, yeah, that's cool with me, let's just keep it moving. Self-censorship. This is when group members minimize personal doubts and counter-arguments. Rather than speaking up, they just say, oh, you know what, I'm probably wrong, they're probably right. They minimize their doubts, and they keep pushing forward. Illusion of unanimity, belief that silence equals agreement. I don't know if you guys have ever been sitting in like a group project, and you guys are like, oh, what should we do? And you're all, like maybe someone says an idea, and everyone kind of just looks at them, or her, and the person takes it as, all right, well, they didn't object, that they must be agreeing. Self-appointed mind guards. If you guys remember, a good example for this, when Irvin first began bringing groupthink into the field of communication, one of the public policy or foreign policy cases that he looked at was when Kennedy decided to invade Cuba, the Bay of Pigs. They said that Kennedy's secretary was actually like a mind guard, because he was literally just like keeping negative information that he was receiving. Like, he knew what Kennedy was thinking and what he wanted to do, so anything that went against that, he wouldn't even present it to him. So, they said that the secretary was a mind guard and that he, it kind of backfired on him. Then pressures on dissenters. This is basically like if you're the person in the group that is willing to speak up, the rest of the group kind of like, pushing you away, kind of just giving you the cold shoulder because you're not agreeing with what they're saying.
Okay, so for the integration, we have socio-psychological and socio-cultural. So as you know, the groupthink theory deals with small group organizational. So it deals with communication with others, and it also deals with socio-cultural, as in like sometimes high-text cultures and low-text cultures. Some people are, if you're like in I think it's a high-text culture, you may not be willing to speak up, say like in cultures like in Japan or other Asian countries. And in low context countries like America, Canada, I think Australia, New Zealand, and stuff like that, they are more open to like expressing their ideas when asked in a group setting. And the approach to knowing is empirical and positivistic because you can use numerical data to you can observe the experiment and with numerical data.
It's basically what we're gonna like end up doing with the activity. That's exactly what it is with like surveys. Critique. We got scope, testability, heurism, and test of time. It's really went through like test of time. It's fairly new. I don't know what you want to consider like new or old. Is there a Professor Bell, is there an actual, when it comes to communication, what makes something new versus? Is there like a stamp on that of how many years? I would say it's pretty new, right, in the field. So then heurism, because groupthink is always going to be relevant. Anytime that you're working with somebody, whether it's in a small group context or an organizational context, no matter what field or what the purpose is, groupthink is going to be relevant to it. It's looked at in many different aspects. And that scope, exactly, like it has a wide range of things that it can be applied to.
Also, I'm sorry, for the scope, it deals with small groups and organizational, so it's kind of narrow, so it doesn't deal with like large group settings. It's pretty much just small groups and organizational. And for the testability, the validity of the theory is criticized, so that they argue that half the symptoms are not associated with concurrent seeking, which is a key feature of the theory. So,
you guys got any questions on those? No? Okay, so we're gonna talk about the articles briefly. Ones that I looked at, it was groupthink in academia versus like policy making groups. They used qualitative research. What they did is, the example they used was, so say your HR manager, he's hiring people. So let's say right now the organization has 51% of people who, come, they're pretty similar. So the HR manager, he's more likely to hire people that fit in the same values as him. Whether he's aware of it or not, it's going to happen. So that 51% goes from 55%. Okay, now you got 55% of people thinking the same. They hire more people. Now before you know it, you're at 65%, 75, 85%, until before you know it, basically you just have one company all thinking the exact same. And that's obviously, in the long run, going to be a seriously negative impact on your business. They use the positivistic and empirical approach. And then heurism and test of time was proven.
okay, so my article was called An Upside to Bicultural Identity Conflict, Resisting Groupthink and Cultural In-Groups. So there was a study at Columbia University, and it was conducted to reveal the effects of groupthink on decision making. So there was about 33 participants. They were all of Korean and Chinese descent. And the researchers were interested in seeing how people in group settings would abandon their own ideas in order to keep the cohesiveness of the group. So it deals with like high context cultures. The people that were in the study, the study said that they had to choose two different objects and explain if they were the same or different. So they were given like a 3D object, and the objects were twisted and turned and said, okay, if this object is turned, would it look the same or would it look different as the other object? And most of the participants knew that if they turned the object, that it would not look the same as the second object. But even though they knew that, they still chose what their other partner said. Like it was incorrect. And although they knew, they came into effect because they went with what the other group said and not what their beliefs were. Yes. And then as a result, the researchers concluded that participants were most likely to oppose incorrect answers in a group rather than oppose answers deemed as correct. So even though if their partner said that the answer was incorrect, they still said that the answer was sorry. Even though the people said that the answer was correct, they opposed it, the incorrect answers, even though they knew that their answer was correct.
Any questions on that? All right, so now we're gonna basically sum up groupthink with the follow-up of the activity. So I'm gonna have you guys move around a little bit. Would Stephen, Joseph, Nicole, Alex, Jonathan, Justine, please come to this side of the room. Or if most of you guys are over there, you could stay over there and we can just switch it. And then Jenna, Abby, Destiny, Dave, Brandon, Justin, R. Marshall, Michael, Sam, Vanessa, Aaron, Deidre, Mark, and Niece. If you guys can come over here. Then if I didn't call your name, stand up and come to the front of the room. It is, huh? What's your name, man? What's your name? Okay, so we got Alex, Nicole, Joseph, Stephen. You guys are over here, Jonathan. Okay. So if you guys want to like come over kind of by the door, the people in the front of the room. Okay, so from what you guys saw, the lady that you looked at, you guys would probably help her cross the street. You maybe thought she wasn't attractive. She was very elderly, maybe your grandmother. That's what you guys wrote down. That's what you guys saw, right? Okay. Now you guys wrote down that the young lady that you guys saw was young, maybe in her 30s, very attractive. Her profession might be a model, makes lots of money, right? Okay. So how do you guys think that they could see a grandmother and you guys could see a young model? How could that be?
Anybody?
I've seen it before, and yeah, it is an illusion. It's like that. There's like a bunch of them learning about it in the perception class. Like, I can see both of them. I was the first one I saw it.
Okay. Yeah, so these people, I'm assuming you guys have like seen this picture or done the activity before. So they wrote down that they saw both. So to bring it back to groupthink. Now, let's say that you guys are in a group, and I give you guys that picture. You guys are all going to be 100% convinced, no doubt, that this is an old lady, you know, right? Why, you saw both too?
Yeah, we can be convinced otherwise.
You saw both too?
Yes.
Okay. So you should be over here. You should have wrote down both. Now you guys would all, if you're in a group and you all only saw the young lady, you guys would be 100% convinced that it was a young lady, right? Okay. So now, that's groupthink. Rather than say, okay, maybe someone else could see it a different way, you guys are just going to be positive it's a young lady. If one of you guys would have took the time to ask somebody in this group, they could have showed you why they saw an old lady, and then you guys could have showed them why you saw a young lady. So just for anybody that's wondering if you don't see both right now. Alright, so first, I'm going to outline the elderly woman. So right here, this is going to be her nose. Big nose. Okay, nose curves up right here. Here's a nostril.
Oh, shit.
Now here's one of her eyes. Okay? Here's the other one of her eyes. Here's her chin, comes way down here. Here's the line of her mouth. Okay, so chin, mouth. Now the white hair, the white stuff right here, it's like a bonnet, right? You know what the elderly women wear, it's like raining out or whatever. This is her hair, little feather, and then a jacket. Now, do you guys, anyone still not see can you guys see the old lady or no? You all see it? Okay, now for young lady.
You can see, like, this is her ear right here. This is maybe, like, the bottom of her neck. This is maybe a necklace or something that goes with her shawl. Can you see that? Everybody? So this is her shawl. This is her eye right here. And her nose will probably be, like, right here. And this is her hair. and this was like a decoration or something on her hat. And
Okay.
this right here is like maybe a hood or something. I don't know. But that's the young woman.
Can you guys all see the young woman now? So now everybody can see both pictures, right? So now when you see the picture like I do, like, and we do, like, you can just clearly see, you know what features to look at to see the old lady, and you know what features to look at to see the young lady. So basically with that activity, we just wanted to show you that, you know, there always is two perspectives to things, and to take the time to ask about other people's opinions outside of your group, you know, for group things. So does anybody have any questions for us? What's going on?
I would just like to say, you a beast.
Thank you. Anybody else? Nobody else? Alright, Professor Bell, you got anything for us? No? Is there another group after us?